All right, today we're going to dive deep into something that's at the very heart of network stability. We're talking about the 5 crucial FSMO roles, the unsung heroes that keep Microsoft's Active Directory from, well, completely falling apart. So, let me ask you a question. Picture a giant, sprawling blueprint for a skyscraper. Now, imagine you've got dozens of architects all trying to make changes to that one master blueprint, all at the same time. What do you get? You get chaos, right? A total recipe for disaster. Well, that is the exact problem that Active Directory deals with every single day.
And believe me, the stakes here are incredibly high. I mean, if 2 different domain controllers try to make the same critical change at once, say creating a new domain with the exact same name, that conflict can send a shockwave through the entire network. We're talking authentication failures, data corruption, you name it. Total system outages.
So how do you solve this? Well, Active Directory uses this really elegant system called Flexible Single Master Operations, or FSMO, which you've probably heard of. The idea is simple but brilliant. Instead of letting everyone mess with the master blueprint, it designates one specific master for certain key operations. This makes sure there's always a single source of truth for the most sensitive changes. And just how many of these specialized master roles are there? You guessed it, just 5. That's it. These 5 roles are the guardians of your Active Directory, and each one has a very, very specific job to do. Now here's the thing. These 5 guardians aren't all the same. They're actually split into 2 different groups, and it all comes down to their scope, their area of authority. Some operate across the entire network forest, while others are specialists working inside a single domain. So let's start with the real heavy hitters, the 2 forest-wide roles. There is only one of each of these in your entire Active Directory forest. It doesn't matter if you have 10 domains or 100, just one of each. Their decisions affect everybody. First up is the Schema Master. The best way to think about this role is as the lead architect for your entire Active Directory. You see, the schema is the literal blueprint of the directory. It defines what kind of things can exist, like users, groups, or computers, and what properties they can have. The Schema Master is the only domain controller allowed to make changes to this blueprint. This ensures that the foundational structure of your entire network stays consistent and doesn't get corrupted.
Okay, our second forest-wide guardian is the Domain Naming Master, and this one acts as the ultimate gatekeeper for the whole forest.
Its job sounds simple, but it is absolutely critical. It manages the master list of all the domains in the forest. So anytime you want to add a new domain or get rid of an old one, you have to get permission from this role. Why? Because this prevents the catastrophic mistake of creating 2 domains with the exact same name. It's the single source of truth for the forest's overall layout.
All right, so those are the big picture roles. Now, let's zoom in a bit and talk about the other 3. Unlike the forest-wide guardians, you get one of each of these for every single domain in your network. They're the ones handling the critical, day-to-day work within their own territory.
And the first specialist is the PDC emulator. You can think of this one as the final authority, the boss, really, on a few incredibly important, high-traffic tasks.
Think about it. When you change your password, that change gets rushed straight to the PDC emulator. It has the final say to make sure there are no conflicts or issues. It's also the master time source for the whole domain, which is vital for security protocols like Kerberos to even work. And on top of that, it handles the urgent replication of important group policy updates. It's the domain's ultimate decision maker.
Next up, we have the RID Master, which I like to call the Identity Manager. Every single object in Active Directory, every user, every computer, everything needs a totally unique identity, and this is the role that makes that happen. So here's how it works. The RID Master's job is to hand out big batches of unique numbers, called Relative IDs, or RIDs, to all the other domain controllers. Then, when a new user account is created, that controller just grabs a RID from its batch to create a completely unique Security ID, or SID. Without this system, you could end up with 2 users having the same identity, and that is a massive security nightmare. And that brings us to our final domain specialist, the Infrastructure Master. As you might guess from the name, this role is kind of like the bridge builder between different domains. So let's play out a scenario. What happens if you add a user from, say, domain A to a security group over in domain B? Well, the Infrastructure Master in domain B is the one responsible for keeping that connection up to date,
It periodically checks back to make sure the user's name or other details haven't changed, ensuring that these relationships between objects in different domains stay accurate and don't break.
And this quote really sums up the whole philosophy perfectly. It's not about being the fastest system, it's about control and it's about consistency. By assigning a single master for each of these critical operations, Active Directory just flat out guarantees a stable and predictable environment.
So let's just bring it all together for a quick recap. You've got your two big forest-wide guardians, the schema master and the domain naming master, and they manage the overall structure, the blueprint. Then you've got your three domain specialists, the PDC emulator, the RID master, and the infrastructure master, and they handle all the critical, high-volume tasks inside each domain.
You know, the crucial point here, the big takeaway is this. The FSMO roles are the answer to that very first question about how you prevent chaos. This very deliberate, very structured division of labor is what ensures that no matter how many admins you have, no matter how many domain controllers, the most critical parts of your network are always being managed from one single authoritative source.
Of course, this all leads to one final really important question. We've just seen how absolutely essential these 5 guardians are for keeping things stable, but what happens if one of them just goes offline? Well, that's a whole other can of worms and definitely a topic for another day.